Hey guys, welcome to Vanishing Gates. As always, I am your host Jay, and this guy here on Skype is
I'm Paco.
And what the fuck? Who is this?
The magnanimous, amazing, spectacular prime, known as Jack.
He's never lost that step, has he? Not once. After being on sabbatical for so long. So you started a new career.
Yeah, I say people in New Guinea.
Papua New Guinea.
I'm the hero of El Salvador.
They're not anywhere near each other.
No, not even slightly.
So, but you were here tonight. That's a plus.
Oh, yeah.
Especially as we are coming closer to that season of freaking miracles. Ooh. Halloween. Couple days away. Just a few days away. Very exciting. So, anyway, what's our cigar of the show? Paco, I know you're smoking something different because you're afar now. What are you smoking right now?
I have myself a nice, finely rolled Jamie Garcia Reserva Especial.
Oh, yeah? Is that what that is?
Yeah. I'm sorry?
Is that what that is? And we're smoking some Siobhan Maduros because I still have a bunch of these fucking things. So, yeah. Good times. Great oldies. Now, guys, please don't forget we are now on actual podcasting sites. Go figure. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Plus apparently has podcasts as well, and Podbean.
Isn't Google Plus shutting down? Their failure has become epic.
Don't do that right now. No. Stop.
We love you. Jesus. We love you, overlords.
This is domestic overlords.
Don't worry about it.
I am trying also. I put in the application to get on iHeartRadio as well, so we might be on iHeartRadio soon too.
I don't know how I feel about radio. I think I just like radio. I'd like to stay in a relationship with just like.
I just want to be in a like relationship with radio. I don't know if I need
to be on I like radio.
I don't know if my emojis need to be that dedicated to radio.
Let's not push too hard.
Hey guys in chat, let us know how audio it is. We always have issues. Facebook and YouTube. Oh yeah, we're still there. You know that thing.
Sometimes.
Our poor Twitch channel has been neglected very, very poorly. I have not done anything with Twitch. I feel kind of bad. I feel like a very bad caretaker of my Twitch channel. I
will say that I'm very glad that I've recently been capable of opening up my Saturdays. The way I've been working, I haven't had a single Saturday. This is like one of the first Saturdays I've actually had where I could do something.
You have something to do on a Saturday? That's awesome, man. I don't get Saturdays. I get Sundays. I get Mondays.
It's ridiculous. Yeah, but now I don't have to worry about it.
So, I do have some weird news for you guys before we continue our second part of our Urban Legends series. And, man, this is some weird news. Some of it's a little creepy. Some of it's a little scary. And the one is really funny. So this is from, I want to say, Newsweek.com. Cannabis store worker fights off robbers with bong. You heard that right, folks. Footage has emerged of an attempted robbery of a cannabis dispensary in Canada being thwarted by a bong-wielding employee, which is one of the best things I've ever read in my entire life. And it's hard to beat that.
Canada?
Dude, yeah, oh yeah.
I will
say it is, actually.
Cool.
Probably from Canada, which just ran out of dope. No.
Beautiful.
Security cameras in the shop in
Tiendinaga,
is that how you say that?
No.
Tiendinaga. It is Ontario.
Tiendinaga?
Whatever. Guys in Canada, I apologize if I'm butchering your Ontario names. In Ontario, captured 3 masked men running into the store wielding cans of bear spray. CBC reported. The men rushed towards the 2 employees standing behind the desk, spraying them with the chemicals. Though they initially ducked behind the counter, the man re-emerged holding a large bong, which he held above his head as he faced off against the assailants. Despite the repeated demands that he get the fuck down, and this is, by the way, the news article, not me saying that, the brave worker held all 3 men at bay. The attackers seemed to consider rushing the vigilante, but the large bong appeared to put them off. One tried to spray more mace, but the can was apparently empty. Another threw a plastic box, but it missed its mark. Eventually, after several moments of posturing, I can see like gorillas in the wild. Give me a reefer.
Well, there's only one conclusion. Get rid of fully automatic bongs.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to get rid of them.
Bear spray.
Ban them.
Fully automatic bear spray.
And plastic toad. They're inaccurate as shit. Could you imagine if that plastic toad had hit an innocent bystander? They would have died instantly.
Dead.
Instantly.
So
plastic toad to death.
After several moments of posturing, the men fled the shop, but not before the employee landed a hit with his trusty pipe, smashing it to pieces. A fourth man was waiting in a getaway vehicle to whisk the bandits away to safety. After the incident, Tiendanaga police, I guess it's Tiendanaga, police issued a public appeal for any information that could help identify the 4 males, believed to be of Middle Eastern descent, that tried to rob the recreational cannabis farmers market.
That was loud.
That sounds more like a party than anything else. A recreational cannabis farmers market. That'd be totally different. Cannabis farmers market. They were met with great resistance by the store clerk, and despite being sprayed with bear spray, the clerk, who was from Tiendanaga, Mohawk territory, managed to successfully fight them off and force them from the store. And there's more, but that's about it for that story.
I mean, what else do you need to know? Right? A man fought off several people with a bong. That's just...
Reefer thieves get beat by bong men. It's almost like a crab. You can imagine the Batman things it would have done back in the day.
I think there was a bong man. Wasn't it Jay and Silent Bob?
I think there was.
Wasn't Jay?
I think they did that
that
Jay and Silent Bob thing. I don't know.
I think that was.
Stock's going to listen to this and go, what the hell's wrong with you guys? And he's going to yell at us.
Taken.
So...
No movie rights for us, everybody.
Do you want to read this one, Jack?
Probably not.
Okay.
Satanic tweens allegedly plotted to slaughter classmates.
Yeah.
Like Jackie Solo, Han Solo's younger sister.
This is from NewYorkPost.com. That's not.
That's a newspaper?
NewYorkPost.com, yeah, apparently.
Terrible.
Satanic tweens allegedly plotted to slaughter classmates. We shouldn't be laughing about that.
Nope.
So 2 Satan-worshipping tweens allegedly planned to go on a stabbing rampage and kill more than a dozen middle school classmates, according to officials. Police in Florida, go figure, said the female students ages 11 and 12 were found armed and hiding Tuesday in the bathroom at Bartow Middle School. Is it Bartow or Bartow, do you think?
Bartow.
Bartow Middle School. News station WTVT reported. Clever name. The girls, whose identities have not been released because they're minors, allegedly brought butcher knives and a pizza cutter to school to carry out the attack. For a pizza cutter!
You know what? That's gonna be devastating. Because here's the thing: the knife you can do like this. You know, you can stab, you can do small things. But with the pizza cutter, you can roll right across necks.
I want to clarify something. I'm not trying to make light of the situation. The pizza cutter thing kind of freaks me out because I've never thought, hey, if I was going to hurt somebody, I'd use a pizza cutter. Or if I had to defend myself, the pizza cutter would not be what I grabbed.
Everybody at once with a pizza cutter. Think about, you can cut across everybody's chest just like this, and just rolls, like slicing the whole time.
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't do any damage unless you're really getting in there. It's more like a...
Okay, well, maybe she has to go over once or
like
twice.
Like a Ulu knife kind of thing.
Like she's scrubbing paper off, like scrubbing a spot off, but...
But it would just roll around.
It's
not an efficient weapon.
It'll get there.
It takes some creativity.
You know what? Maybe she sharpened it.
They're sharp. They're just not... The way they work, they don't work that way. Unless it's one of those... Maybe it's one of those pizza cutters that you...
Maybe she took the time to reforge it into tungsten and put diamond on the tip of it. Okay,
I'm wondering if it's maybe one of those pizza cutters that are like the big long blades.
Maybe one of these girls was secretly like blacksmith and knew how to do these things and like remade one of the rolling pizza cutters.
No, listen, I'm just trying to think. Maybe it's one of those pressing ones where you actually.
Oh, the
professional
ones,
style. Yeah, maybe it's one of those. I didn't think about that till just now. That's why I'm bringing that up.
Oh, that does sound.
That would be a lot more dangerous because that's basically a big ass.
She's gonna have to hold it against someone and do this repeatedly.
Well, no, it's a machete at that point. So school
would have something that big, going to the freaking school. One's coming with a knife. It's very concealed. The other one's going to come in with a very concealed pizza cutter.
Hold on. Could you imagine the meeting in the bathroom before that? It's like, hey, Sarah, did you bring your weapon?
Well, Barbara, I brought this.
I brought my dagger. What did you bring? Hold on. I got this shit, Sarah. Fucking pizza cutter.
Okay. It's not even gonna fit your backpack. How are you gonna hide that from your mom?
Okay, now guys, this is only funny because no one actually got hurt. They got caught before it happened. So
Satan loves pizza and killing people with pizza utensils.
Oh, talk about Pizzagate. So school staff discovered the girls in the bathroom and took them to the principal's office where they confessed to plotting the killing spree for satanic purposes, authorities said.
I think they were discovered because Barbara's giant ass weapon was sticking out of the bottom of the toilet area. While they were hiding. Just holding that shit like down by her legs, and they're like, why is there a pizza cutter in that stall? Nothing. Don't even worry about it. Why are you in there too?
Why is there a pizza cutter hanging out of the bathroom stall? Nothing. Just a response.
Just nothing.
Could you imagine every time a cop pulled somebody over, hey, freeze, and the guy's like has his guns out, he's robbing a house. Nothing. Like,
nothing.
Anyway, police said the girls were in the bathroom because they were waiting for children smaller than them to attack. The tweens allegedly told the tweens, God, why is this a thing? Allegedly told investigators they planned to kill at least 15 people in the school stabbing. Police searched their home and found a hand-drawn map of the middle school with the words "Go to kill in bathroom," according to WTV.
Masterminds, these are not. Hey, here's a giant fucking map of what we're doing.
I know, guys. Look, guys.
They're not getting far.
This is actually very disturbing, and it's kind of frightening, but it's still kind of comedic because no one got hurt, technically. Now, disturbing messages reviewed on their phones showed they had been planning the attack for several days, officials said. We will leave body parts at the entrance, and then we will kill ourselves, one message reportedly said. Both girls were arrested and charged with conspiracy to commit murder and possession of a weapon in school. Holy shitballs. That's not good, yo.
That's pretty intense.
Hey, guys in chat. Sorry, we weren't looking at the screen, but Emily, hey.
Hey, everybody.
And Emily, other Emily's joined, and M's there, and Tim Freeman's there. Hi, Tim. Guys in chat. I guess I shouldn't say last name. Sorry for outing you for whatever reason there. For watching the show.
Yeah. I guess.
Must be Paco's friend. So, that's my weird news and creepy ass news. None of it's really that funny, but we managed to take a tragedy and make it laughable because that's kind of how we.
I'm a terrible human. Where one of my friends at work told me a story and I laughed, and I have to say I am a horrible human being. And this story literally makes me a horrible human being because 2 people died and one of them was a kid, and it still made me laugh.
There's something seriously wrong.
It was a kid. A kid couldn't swim. Huh?
Don't tell the story, please.
So
don't.
I'm gonna tell the story.
Oh God.
Because I'm a bad person. I want you to know how bad Jack is. Because I can laugh at almost anything, and I don't know why. I don't want to. I just do it. Okay. So
it sounds like a cry for help.
Help me. If anyone knows a good psychiatrist, I'm in it.
No one knows any good psychiatrists.
So apparently this kid, like 8 years old, or he's like 12, and he drowns, or he's trying to swim, he can't swim. Well, his grandmother tries to go out and help him, but she can't swim either. And for some reason in my head, all I could hear her shouting was, "No, little Timmy, oh God!" And then I started laughing really loudly. I was like, and everybody looks at me like, "You're a horrible human." And I'm like, "Yes, no, I concur."
I'm aware that I'm a terrible person.
I agree.
Oh God, everyone knows you're a terrible person. You had to keep that shit on the down low, bro. Jesus.
Look, it's not even the story that made me do it. It's just the fact when the way people respond makes me laugh. So they were responding in this weird way because I started to smile because the way they were responding was making me smile. And then they started like pointing at me like, "Why are you laughing?" I'm like, "I'm not laughing."
You would be the worst grief counselor ever. Like, I wanted to. So tell me what your problem is. Oh, my husband of 14 years is dying of cancer. What?
Wait. What?
Sorry, this is my way of handling things. Like,
let me just
God,
laugh at that.
What the hell, son?
That's not funny. Now here's the
grief.
The things I find funny are only because of circumstances. Okay? I don't find I don't find things like that funny. Like those don't make me laugh. Those make me mad. But the reason this made it funny, was funny to me, is just how the situation went down exactly. Like how that happened. Like why did anyone allow this child? Oh, thanks, Jack. It's that Paco. Thank you. It's okay. Don't worry about it. I've been here in a while. Okay, give me a break. Give Jack a break.
I must be doing something if I'm like all 3 of us, you know?
You're all fucking 3 of us.
You're Jack, you're Paco, you're Jay, you're the holy trinity of stupidity. So, back to our urban legends thing, to regress away from your digression there, good sir.
I digress.
So, there's a local story of a pizza parlor here in town. I'm not going to say the name. It's not where it was anymore. It's a large franchise. But it was in a part of town where a lot of people go. And The story was, and this is gross, guys, so I hope you're not eating right now, that the restaurant got shut down because the owner, who was actually hooked on drugs, which was true, was ejaculating on pizzas.
No!
That's the urban legend. He got shut down because he was on methamphetamines and or whatever else and just did a really crappy job, and the restaurant went really bad. Like, just, it was dirty and gross. And so that leads me
I guess
into
we know what the
something
special sauce was.
Oh.
I am so happy I never ate there, dude. I am so happy. I hate their pizza. I never go
No,
there.
we're not saying the name
of
the company at all.
The name.
I'll tell you afterwards.
Okay.
So
now I'm worried.
That said, in the same area, which is a center in town, a particular shopping area with a center at the name. I'm going to say where it is because we have a friend who has a shop there. It's not in that place, but much, much later on. Now, this franchise is recently reopened. It's much cleaner, much nicer. This is many years ago. Well, there's a current restaurant there that's also a pizza parlor. And what happened the other day is this they had a really busy lunch rush during their buffet. And this obvious tweaker lady beelined for the door. The gal working at the store, one of the managers, normally would stop him at the door and tell him to fuck off. Well, unfortunately, she was so busy she didn't get a chance, and tweaker chick blew through the door. And she's like, you know what? She's just going to make a beeline to the restroom. Just leave her alone. Let her do her thing. There's still customers. Don't make a scene. Just call it good and let her go. Well, tweaker gal comes back by a little bit later, and she has a bag. And she walks over to the buffet and takes the rest of the pizza and puts it in the bag and makes a beeline to the door. And the manager goes, hey, well, you need to stop. You need to pay for that. And the tweaker chick's like, well, I don't have any money. And just left. Like, just like that. Which I wish all my problems were that easy to solve. Well, I don't have any money, and just go and take whatever I need. That'd be awesome. But the manager started realizing that the bag she had looked really familiar. Where the hell did she get this bag? I know that bag. And then it occurred to her. So she went to the restroom. And in women's restrooms, oftentimes there's a particular receptacle specifically for used feminine hygiene products. And as she went into the restroom, there were feminine hygiene products all over the floor. And that was the bag that she shoved the pizza in. And she left.
God.
And that's how urban legends start. Unfortunately, in this case, it happened. It wasn't.
She overdosed on iron?
She's had an iron deficiency. Maybe she was a vampire. God. Yeah, so anyway, that's that.
Bloody pizza will just make you do anything.
Oh, man. We could have probably saved that story for next one.
Would you call that a Tam Pizzeria?
She had one hell of a tamper.
Oh.
Should have kept it in her pants.
Oh. All right. So, on to actual urban legends. Paco, why don't you start with one? Because I know you got three, right?
Let's take it to a little bit lighter side of things. And we are going to we're going to take a nice little trip, you guys.
We got to make the flow a little lighter.
We're going to take a nice little trip, and we're going to go all the way over to this little town called New Jersey.
A little town? I think it's a state, bro.
Wait.
Okay.
New Jersey, Mexico?
So... What?
New Jersey, Mexico?
Nope, not New Jersey, Mexico.
Oh, okay. Just want to clarify.
So, there was an old Italian gentleman lived alone in New Jersey. He wanted to plant his annual tomato garden, but it was very difficult work, as the ground was hard. His only son, Vincent, who used to help him, was in prison. The old man wrote a letter to his son and described his predicament. The letter said, Dear Vincent, I am feeling pretty sad because it looks like I won't be able to plant my tomato garden this year. I'm just getting too old to be digging up a garden plot. I know if you were here, my troubles would be over. I know you would be happy to dig the plot for me, like in the old days. Love, Papa. A few days later, he received a letter from his son. Dear Papa, don't dig up that garden. That's where the bodies are buried. Love, Vinny. At 4 a.m. the next morning, FBI agents and local police arrived and dug up the entire area without finding any bodies. They apologized to the old man and left. That same day, the old man received another letter from his son. Dear Papa, go ahead and plant the tomatoes now. That's the best I could do under the circumstances. Love you, Vinny.
It's more of a joke than an urban legend.
Well, this actually came off of the Urban Legends, urbanlegends.com.
That's a thing?
Apparently.
I mean, that shouldn't surprise me. I just didn't know it was a thing. Did you know it was a thing, Jack?
Nope.
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 Yep.
All right, so let's go to my first one.
Jack don't know nothing.
One funny one that I could find from urbanlegends.com, but the other ones I found, the other ones are from the last site that I read off of before, and so those ones are going to be from there.
Okay. So I got
would you say it's the last of the Mohicans?
No.
Let's just be clarified here. No?
What?
No?
Pretty sure no. It's not. The Last Mohicans, no.
All right, then. It's okay.
Sure, that was a great film. Never watched it.
You know what? Dances with Wolves was a great film. Can we discuss that? Let's discuss how great Dances with Wolves was.
No one wants to talk about Kevin Costner ever.
Fine, whatever.
Waterworld. No, that's all you have to hear.
Why'd you have to mention Waterworld?
Because you brought up Kevin Costner. That's why, motherfucker.
Don't ever bring that up.
Problem solved. Anyway.
They're not about Kevin Costner.
So I want to start on the first urban legend I have. I have one that's mid-ground, kind of eerie, not really eerie, kind of, I don't know. It's creepy to some people, but I have my second one is going to be the creepy one. So this one, I'm
already spooked solid.
I want to talk about Goatman and the Grunches.
Ooh.
So half man, half goat, all asshole. That's the Goatman.
Hey.
What?
Hey. You don't know that.
Well, I mean, he's not technically a brown starfish, but he's still an asshole.
You don't know he's an asshole.
Well, he is. He makes people kill themselves.
Look, you don't know he does that.
Well, he said they say he do.
Maybe he just makes. Well,
that's the urban legend. It's why it's
an
urban legend.
Life? Are they on his Twitter handle? What,
yes.
They got direct knowledge from him on his Facebook.
Hashtag at fucking Pope Lick Monster. I don't know. There's got to be a hashtag. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so the idea of Goatman, he's basically a satyr.
This is propaganda. Propaganda against satyrs.
Hashtag.
So the idea
hashtag propaganda against satyrs.
The idea of Goatman.
Hashtag Satyr-gate.
Satyr-gate. Oh God. It's a little big fucking hate campaign against satyrs.
It's just a fucking hate campaign against satyrs. Okay. Look, leave the poor forest folk alone. All right. They don't do nothing. They did nothing wrong.
Panflutesereevil.com. That's got to be a thing. Anyway, so the idea of a Goatman is spread from Massachusetts, Kentucky, Alabama, Wisconsin even. And, the most famous one is the Kentucky Goatman, Pope Lick, the Pope Lick monster. Mm. Which, again, Pope Lick, like you would lick the Pope for some reason. I wouldn't lick the Pope. Mm. Would you lick the Pope?
No.
Paco, would you lick the Pope?
No.
Folks in chat, if you would lick the Pope, please email us at vanishinggates@gmail.com.
How many people would lick the Pope?
That way we can get you some help.
Wait, how many people would lick the Pope versus lick a goat?
I would lick a goat way before I lick the Pope.
Yeah, okay, I agree. Yeah.
He's a menacing man, the Pope.
He creeps me out. He's got them creepy come hither eyes.
He's got that sly come eat fresh eyes. Oh.
He probably likes the subway.
Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble by all the Catholics. They're gonna hate me after this one.
I'm just kidding.
In chat, M says Paco already licked him. So
it's my bad.
So the Pope Lick monster is named for Pope Lick. I think it's a county or a town, or it's a creek. Sorry, Pope Lick Creek in Kentucky, and there's a train trestle that goes over it. So the Pope Lick monster basically is this goat man that will lure you onto the train trestle and either kill you, make you get hit by a train, or convince you to jump off the trestle.
Didn't we talk about this already once?
I think we did briefly, but this is another.
Yeah, that was. I can't remember what we were talking about.
I don't remember about the goat man. We've been doing this for almost 2 years, dude. We've had this is episode 78, I think, plus all the other in between episodes we don't count as episodes.
I think it was last on like 49.
So what you're saying is that you didn't do proper research to make sure that we did this show before bringing this story forward?
That part I didn't do. That part I did not do. I did not check my own notes and go back and look at all of my own shows.
Watch every one.
You should have rewatched every single one.
Many hours of shows
Blackout
we've
too
done.
much?
I haven't been playing Blackout at all.
Yeah.
Call of Duty. I have not. I played Call of Duty
Blackout.
Zombies. I tried to play the Call of PUBG, and it actually crashed my
Zombies
Xbox.
Sucks. Well, that's because Xbox sucks.
Xbox sucks.
It's understandable.
No, it was like launch day,
PlayStation
dude.
4.
Everything crashed.
Blackout.
So,
hold on, Paco. You got your PS4 out there?
Yes, sir.
Are you online?
Yes,
You
sir.
playing Blackout?
No, sir.
Well, then you suck. All right, then.
if he drinks enough whiskey, he will play Blackout. And that's no urban legend. That's a duplicitous fact. So now, there's a lot of stories about where Goatman might have come from. Like, he might have been a scientist that worked for a college that was doing research. He might have been an experiment that was spliced with goat and human genes. Or he might have just had a dad that liked to bone goats.
Look, that's not how genetics works.
It's not the point.
I'm just going to have
It's
to
not
say
the
that now.
point.
I'm going to have to get really low here and say, that's not how genetic works. You don't genetically do that.
You don't genetically bone goats?
You can't have children
Reproduce
with
goats?
animals. That's not
Prove
how
it.
these things works.
Prove it. Burden of proof's on you, the accuser, good sir.
You know
Anyway,
what? You know what? Never. Maybe you can. Okay.
Some stories say
I
he
know
has
Dave
hypnotic
Stock has
powers.
attempted this, so
Well, he's, whatever. I'm not going to read that M in chat.
isn't that a movie?
It's probably a lot of movies. There's probably websites dedicated to that. Anyway, so
They would know then.
Whether
wouldn't
it's a
they?
genetic experiment or a zoophilia thing gone wrong, the Poplik monster, the Goat Man, is said to exist.
There's a guy who wrote a book called Dolphin Love.
Okay,
It's creepy.
let's
I
go
read
back.
an excerpt. Let's just not
reel it in.
ever go there again, okay?
Let's
Everybody,
reel
if
it
you
in.
want.
Fan fiction is bad.
No, it was a book.
Oh, man,
BuzzFeed,
have you ever
help
seen some of the
BuzzFeed.
people that work at the mall in chat? That's nice.
Touche.
Touche. I've been to Walmart. I've seen the horrors.
I've been to Walmart.
Oh man. So anyway, some stories say he carries an axe and will kill you. Some stories say he has hypnotic powers that will make you jump off bridges. There was a situation where a fellow and his girlfriend were on the train trestle, and she got killed, and he hung over the side of it. Now there's a big hang up there. No pun intended. Because the idea.
Well, how old is the trestle in the first place?
Well, it's not super old, but it takes 5 to 7 minutes for the train to pass.
Okay, so here's
And
the thing.
most people aren't strong enough to hang
And on
over
top of
a
that,
trestle. It's way above ground.
that's a very powerful vehicle pushing on the ground, and it's very heavy, and those things rattle really fucking hard while they're rolling on.
I don't know if you guys have ever seen Lost Boys, but it's legit.
They will
similar.
shake really hard like an earthquake,
And it doesn't
you
just
will
shake
fall.
the trestle. I mean, I've been
Yeah,
next
no.
to trains when I'm on the ground. I could feel it.
And these things are grounded really hard, but they still shake heavy concrete bridges. So
Well,
it's
there's
not
a lot
exactly,
of movement. Yeah, exactly. There's a lot
It's
of
not
movement
safe.
going on.
and especially on older ones. This is probably like a really old one, so it's probably not been updated a lot.
So not too
So it's
long
probably
ago,
a solid
apparently,
wood one.
though, not too long ago, a person was killed because they went up there looking for, and people will go and do dark tourism and go to this Poplik train trestle, and they don't realize it's still an active trestle. The trains still roll over it. There are warning signs. They actually put up fences around it to stop people from going on there.
Did they
There's
say
barriers.
like, "Hey,
People still climb.
jackass, trains pass here, stop"?
I mean, maybe just get rid of warning signs altogether. I don't know.
Well, you know what? Instead of having warning signs, put potential Darwinism ahead. Put that sign up. Potential Darwinism ahead for people who are going to climb on that. Okay.
I mean, it's technically
Because
a
that's
warning.
just the truth.
Technically, they'd have to understand what that means. But there's not just the
I don't
Poplik
know
is
that many
only
who don't.
one. That's only one story of the Goat Man. Like I said, it spreads from different places, different counties. A lot of areas, a lot of places in that area of the country have multiple Goat Man stories for their communities. But there's also a thing called the Grunches, and a lot of these stories, the Grunches and the Goat Man are usually tied together from an old folklore. Where you'd go out to Lover's Lane, you'd be getting your car get pelted as you guys start to get hot and bothered. Because again, most of these mythological creatures are just fucking cock blocks. That's all there is to it.
There is one thing I want to do this show that is actually really serious.
What?
It's about what happened earlier today, and I thought we should maybe do this at the beginning of the show, but now
Let's do that now before we get too far into the
Yeah,
creepy stuff. And
'cause,
let's do a nice.
we
thing.
kind of want to do. You know, I didn't bring this up to Jay. I figured we would now. It's
Yeah,
one of those
that's a good
things.
idea.
There was an unfortunate shooting today at a synagogue in Squirrel Hills, Pittsburgh, and 8 people lost their lives, and 3 officers were wounded, I believe. I don't know if any of them died or they were critical. That was the last time I heard anything.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of details. We just know there was a very quiet thing at a synagogue.
Yeah, and
it's very sad. So if you guys would take just a second and maybe say a prayer or give some good energy that way towards Pennsylvania, and it's a sad moment. So let's just take a couple seconds here and just be quiet, which is really difficult. All right, that's a couple seconds.
That was a couple seconds. Yeah.
That's my heart goes out fast.
Qualifies.
My
heart went out immediately. No, I mean,
I'm not making light of this. It's a very sad, tragic situation, but
we'll find out what happens eventually. But
yeah, we'll get there eventually. But we do want to extend our prayers and good energy and feelings to those folks.
Good luck to the family.
Yeah, the best to all you guys, and I hope that
what's really sad about it was the one thing I did hear about it was it was a naming ceremony. It was a naming ceremony.
So we'll get into that at some point privately, but yeah, just keep your good thoughts that way as we go along in this dark and twisted path where we make jokes about things. One thing we don't want to make a joke about is a tragedy that just happened. So anyway, let's move on, and maybe Paco's next urban legend will help us feel a little better.
Okay, we go through something serious, and then I look up and I see you laughing, and I'm like, what just happened to you?
He's reading the chat.
Oh, God, stop reading the chat.
Well, we are going to kind of take this down a humor alley here.
A humor hole?
And we're going to read the story called A Surprise Wedding. And...
Surprise!
Surprise!
Oh, man.
Are you married now?
No.
Is this your urban legend about you? Right now at this moment?
That would be horrible.
It's like I fell asleep on the road and I woke up and all of a sudden I was just like, whoa.
Oh, that would be a great urban legend we could spread. Man falls asleep, wakes up married.
Wakes up in Vegas.
It's almost like that urban legend about the guy losing his kidney in a bathtub in Las Vegas or some shit. Hello in chat.
Hello.
All right, so surprise wedding. So a wedding took place at Clemson University of South Carolina. It was a huge wedding with about 300 guests. After the wedding, at the reception, the groom got up on stage, got on the microphone, and talked to the crowd. He said that he wanted to thank everyone for coming, many from the long distances, to support them at their wedding. He especially wanted to thank the bride's and the groom's families for coming, and to thank his new father-in-law for providing such a fabulous reception. To thank everyone for coming and bringing gifts, he said he wanted to give everyone a special gift just from him. Taped to the bottom of everyone's chair was a manila envelope. He said that this was his gift and told everyone to open their envelopes. Inside each envelope was an 8x10 photo of his best man having sex with the bride. He had gotten suspicious of the two of them and hired a private detective to trail them weeks prior to the wedding. After he stood there and watched the people's reactions for a couple of minutes, he turned to the best man and cursed him. He turned to his bride and cursed her. Then he turned to the dumbfounded crowd and said, "I'm out of here.
I'm out."
He had the marriage annulled the first thing in the morning, while most of us would have broken off the engagement immediately after finding out about the affair. This man went through with it anyway, as if nothing was wrong. His revenge, letting everyone know what exactly happened, and making the bride's parents pay over $32,000 for the wedding.
Very nice.
Part of me wants that to be a true story.
All of me wants that to be a true story.
All of me wants that to be a true story. Okay,
that should be a true story.
Here's the thing about urban legends, man. It's what's funny with urban legends. You don't know, because everything comes from a grain of truth. Every one of these urban legends, there's a backstory that we can connect. Like we did the last episode. We connected like the Candyman killer guy, the hook hand guy. You find that there is a true story behind it. Like most stories have some kind of truth behind it. And the question is, how far back does it go, and how much can you trace it? And so that's, right. I mean, there's got to be a story there. The Anunnaki. Dang it.
Wait.
Can we do a show without mentioning the Anunnaki? It's a Mandela effect. Tabernacle?
What?
No, I'm hungry. So let's go.
The next one, or are we doing that one a little bit later?
Let's do your next one, because then I got my creepy one that we can pitch off on.
All right. So this one's called the Halloween Surprise. A married couple were invited to a swanky masked Halloween party. Before they were about to leave, the wife got a terrible headache. She told her husband to go to the party alone. Being a devoted husband, he protested, but she said she was going to take some aspirin and go to bed, and there was no need of his good time being spoiled by not going. So he put on his costume, and away he went. The wife, after sleeping soundly for 1 hour, awakened without pain, and as it was still early, she decided to go to the party. Since her husband did not know what her costume was, she thought she would have some fun by watching her husband to see how he acted when she was not with him. She joined the party and soon spotted her husband cavorting around on the dance floor, dancing with a very nice woman. I don't know how to scroll. His wife went up to him and, being a rather seductive woman herself, easily convinced him to leave his partner and dance. She let him go as far as he wished. At last, he whispered a little proposition in her ear. She agreed, and they went out to one of the cars and had sex. Just before the unmasking at midnight, she slipped away and went home and put the costume away. She got into bed wondering what kind of explanation her husband would give for his behavior. This is one awesome wife, you know? I mean, that'd be a lot of fun. She was sitting up reading when he came in. She asked him what kind of time he had. He said, "Oh, the same old thing. You know, I never have a good time when you're not there." Then she asked, "Did you dance much?" He replied, I'll tell you, I never even danced one dance. When I got there, I met Pete, Bill Brown, and some other guys, so we went into the den and played poker all evening. But I'll tell you, the guy I loaned my costume to sure had a real good time.
I've heard that story.
That's never so much time.
Oh, man. So there's morals behind most of these urban legends. Don't start no shit, won't be no shit's a big chunk of it. A lot of these go back to like the whole the hook hand thing. Like the avoid lover's lane, like the Goatman and Grunches. Don't do stupid things. These are like the fairy tales of our time, really. That kind of warn us not to make these bad decisions. It's like a story of growing. Who are you chatting with on your phone there, Jack? We're doing a show. Jesus. Anyway. What do you think, though? Like, is that pretty accurate, you think? Like, most of these legends are there to kind of give us a good lesson, a good moral, like, understanding of what you should and should not do, like a warning.
What I think urban legends predominantly are much like saying the Babadook or scary stories that you told your children when they were going to bed. I think it was someone invented something that was creepy to tell their kids, and their kids told that story eventually, and it just became a thing. I think that's what predominantly most urban legends are. They're just passed down stories, tales that are small, short stories told verbally to other people, and then they evolve over time.
Like, yeah, but I'm confused as to what you mean by the Babadook. Like, why would that be a thing? Hello in chat.
Because I believe, isn't the Babadook like a Hungarian?
No, it's an Australian movie.
Am I thinking of the wrong one?
It was just terrible.
Terrible movie. The wrong one,
we talked about this movie actually. It was just god awful.
There was
I actually spoiled it because I really wanted that movie to be really good, and it was just really bad.
Yeah, I heard it was terrible.
Bad movie. Bad movie, no biscuit.
Hello, everybody.
But what I'm trying to say
is, don't forget to like, share,
follow, subscribe,
you know,
and check out the iTunes.
Share it out to everybody.
And all the podcasting stuff too. Please, if you're gonna go check out the iTunes thing and all that, all the podcasting places, please leave us a good review because that really helps us. So we really appreciate it. Now, don't forget, guys, if we hit 500 likes on our Facebook page and 500 followers, Paco's gonna buy some T-shirts to give away. It's gonna be cool. In the chat, Baba Yaga. Yeah, we will do a show on Baba Yaga.
Baba Yaga.
Yeah,
I think that's what I meant to say was Baba Yaga.
With the chicken leg house.
That's right. Yeah. Thank you, Em.
Bad grandma, I think is what that translates to.
Yeah, that's what I want to
I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. My Russian is really rusty. So anyway, as if you've listened to the Date Loft Pass episode, you'd know my Russian is not great these days.
Beautiful bus.
Anyway.
That was a horrible read.
Oh man!
Oh my gosh! You could not you wrote it down. You couldn't. I know.
I can't even read my own handwriting. Is a problem, man. Oh, love the red beard. Thank you. I'm guessing you're talking about me. I appreciate that. I love my red beard as well.
You can't have a beard.
There was an explosion that just happened outside of the studio.
Yeah, that was not a small explosion.
There was an explosion.
You can still kind of hear it, too.
That wasn't a mortar.
Yeah, you could hear it.
It's still rumbling. Like guys, I'm sorry, I know we're live. There was just an explosion that happened outside of my studio. Maybe it was one of those Transformers popping or whatnot.
I would.
Do you want to go look outside real quick, Jack, and see if anything's going on?
Not while the Russians are invading. We mentioned the Russians in chat. Now it's happening. Okay.
It's probably I'll tell you what it is. It's probably another fucking hash lab blowing up. Actually, that'd be the third one this month or something like that.
Yeah, it's probably a backfired mortar. Someone might have actually fired one off and just.
No, that was not a mortar, dude. That was
what about the mysterious booms over there in Humboldt?
That's what I'm talking about. That was one of those.
I sent you a video of that video, and you told me it was probably just satellite or something like that.
Which one?
The one I was driving home and I took a video out, going out towards my place, and it was the one like that light moving across the sky. I said it was like a flat blue light that was just really weird off in the distance, and I couldn't get it. It didn't appear blue. Like it wasn't blue in the video. It was like yellow, and it was really annoying because it was blue. I could see it blue or purple, and then the next day you told me it was nothing. The next day I read about the fact that they did a freaking SpaceX launch.
Oh yeah, it was Titan.
And that's what people
Titan
were seeing with SpaceX flying.
Yeah, I just didn't
launching out.
We're not going to hear a Titan SpaceX launch from here, though. We're too far north.
No, but that just reminded me.
In chat, is the dog barking? No, the dog is not barking. So, anyway, what the hell are you doing, Paco?
It's the dog's toy.
Oh, jeez.
It's not safe. And the Russians are invading.
It's safe. Go check.
The Russians are invading.
Anyway, so...
Blackhawks. Okay. Soon.
So those were your stories. Are we going to go into our creepy story now? Because...
You know what?
I think that's where we should go. Unless we all die of nuclear fallout here in the next 5 seconds.
Yes. If you see nuclear hellfire, we're not going to finish the episode.
Well, first, we know it's not a nuke because we still have electricity, and it would have melted everything computer-wise. It would have been a big EMP.
If it's a Moab working its way here and we cut out, we're not finished the episode is my point.
A Moab's not working its way here. A Moab shows up when a Moab shows up, and then you don't know
if it's just creeping.
You wouldn't hear that if it was a Moab. That's probably a hash lab or a transformer popping or something. Anyway, in chat, he is porking the pig. So guys that are listening to the podcast and not watching the live stream, you're missing out because that would have been really funny if you guys had actually seen what was going on. Anyway, so the next urban legend I want to talk about is Kuchisaki Onna, the slit-faced woman.
Yeah, I know that one.
You know this one?
I think a little bit. I think I might be confusing it with another one, which is it's. I think I'm confusing it with a different one.
This is a Japanese urban legend.
This is the one I'm thinking is Japanese.
And this actually caused a big panic in Japan in the 70s. So around 1979, in and around the Nagasaki prefecture, there was a big panic because of this whole situation. Kids were being escorted to school by by teachers. Law enforcement had advanced their numbers for extra patrols and whatnot because kids were mortified that they were going to run into Kuchisaki Onna, the slit-faced woman. We'll just call it SLW or SFW.
Yeah, I think I know
Safe
this
for
one,
work,
yeah,
slit-faced woman, safe for work, SFW.
I know this one.
We'll do that. So the children were mortified because this woman. So the story goes back in the Han or the Hain,
the Han Dynasty.
The Heian.
The Han Dynasty?
Well, it's Japan, not China.
Oh.
So I think it's the Heian.
Is it, do you have it on the paper? Written down properly?
Yeah, I can't pronounce it. Heian Dynasty in Japan. So around 1,200 to 800 years ago.
The Heian.
Yeah, something like that. There was a samurai, and he either had a concubine or wife that was very attractive. Very physically vain, though. And she would actually go to random people and ask, am I pretty? And, of course, they'd say yes, and it would feed her ego. And she ended up either cheating on the samurai or he was just so pissed off because he was so jealous that she was talking to other people and wanting their opinion and his wasn't good enough. He gave her what's called the Glasgow smile. You know what a Glasgow smile is, right, Jack?
It's not the Glasgow smile.
Yes, it is. When you cut them from here to here.
Is that the Glasgow smile?
Yes, it's a Glasgow smile. You slice through them.
No, I got that
never knew that?
with something else. It's an Irish version where you put a credit card in someone's mouth and then you punch it in and it slits.
Well, it's the same concept. You cut the corners of the mouths up so it's big. There's actually a famous actor who's been in a ton of movies. I think he was actually in Highlander, and he has those scars because he actually has a Glasgow smile. Someone actually did that to him, so it's a thing that actually does happen. So the samurai cut her I'm guessing with one of his knives, probably a wakizashi, the short sword or the tanto. I'm not sure what he was using, but a knife of some fashion, and slit it from here to here, and opened her face, and she died shortly thereafter. So the story gained more momentum in the 70s with all this fear going on about this whole thing. And the story goes like this. You'll be walking along, and a beautiful woman in a surgical mask and a nice outfit she'll be very, very attractive, even though you can't see her mouth.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
and the tip of her nose. But you can tell she's very beautiful. Now, in America, that would already be a warning sign if you're wearing a surgical mask and someone approaches you in the middle of the night.
In the United States, you're wearing a surgical mask, people are going to avoid you.
Well, you'll get uneasy. But in Japan, it's common to cover in a lot of Asia to wear the surgical mask. It's not because they're worried about smog or anything. It's because it's rude to transmit germs a certain way for fear of making someone else sick. It's a very polite society, and it would be taboo to do that. So it's totally common to see.
It's also so packed. It's just something they did because people.
Well, you don't want to spread the germs.
Quarters everywhere. You
exactly.
don't want to do that.
And you don't want to spread the germs, so you'd wear these surgical masks. So it wouldn't be so odd to see someone walking around in the middle of the night with a surgical mask. Or in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Well, what would happen is this beautiful woman, you'd see her, you'd look at her, and you'd think, holy crap, that's a gorgeous gal. And she'd walk up to you, and she'd get kind of close, and she would ask you, am I pretty? Now, there's a couple ways you can answer this question. I mean...
I'm going to go now.
Well, now...
That'd be my instinct. I'm going to go now.
Again, it's an urban legend, so you don't know exactly... I mean, it has changed and altered over time, and we'll get to that. But if you answered yes... Well, first of all, if you answer no, she's going to shank you with this giant pair of scissors she has. She's going to kill you on the spot. If you say no.
It's my type of lady. Giant pair of scissors.
Just going to shank you with these giant shears. Yeah. Now, if you say yes, she'll get closer to you and remove her surgical mask, showing the mutilation that's happened, and smile real wide. There's actually been horror movies made about this. Not a big surprise. This is a great story to make into a horror movie. Huh?
Like Joker?
Kind of, but yeah, I mean, yeah, like that. Kind of the same concept. Ask me how I got these scars. Well,
I wonder if she says that now.
Samurai, and
now that it's changed.
His buddies.
Now she walks up to you and she looks at you and she's like, "You want to know where I get these scars?" And then when you start to scream, she goes, "Why so serious?"
I'm guessing
new catchphrases for urban legends.
Oh man, that's not what happens.
Let's make urban legends great.
So
hashtag
that shit. Why'd I say that? You know what?
Mulga. Make urban legends great again. Mulga. Oh, man. So, anyway, if you answer yes, she'll pull it off, show you her face, and then she'll ask you again. She'll ask you now, am I still pretty?
The answer is fucking lie.
Am I still pretty? Well, if you say yeah, you might escape for a minute, but then she'll follow you home and kill you in your fucking threshold of your house.
That's rude.
Now, if you say no... She'll take those scissors and move lightning fast with demonic speed and give you the same cuts and then kill you. So you're proper fucked both ways. Now,
what if I say looks are subjective and perhaps...
This is what people have found the way to confound her. There are ways to confound her if you see her.
She's like, well, I can't argue with those. That's
now, here's
at
the
this
thing.
point.
If she takes her mask off and you see that and you start to run... She'll let you get a few steps, but she'll appear right in front of you. Ooh. And so you can't escape.
It's the Matrix.
So, with Kuchisaki Onna,
My bad.
killing me, Smalls.
That's what I do.
The slit-faced lady will, you can confound her and confuse her. There's a few ways they've found to do this, according to the school children. You can, after the first time you tell her, yes, she's pretty, and she takes her mask off, you can say, if she asks you again, you can say, kind of. And she'll get confused.
Well, I don't know what the fuck to do with
that.
that.
Time to escape. Exactly. She'll get confused because it's not polite. It's not a normal.
Kind of looks at you like, I don't know what to say to that. Do I?
Yeah, exactly. You? And it confuses her, and you're supposed to be able to escape. Now you can also do a couple things. You can throw her money at her, which will confuse her.
You can open your pants and throw something else that she just gave to you to her. I'm sure that'll confuse the shit out of her. And you.
The most confused erection ever.
Got the strangest boner right now.
Really?
No.
Come on, son. No, not really. I mean, just, Jesus Christ. Killing me, Jack. So, I mean, the fear boner.
Look. What? Okay, what if you just asked her what she thought of the state of the current economic crisis in Japan was, and you just started asking her questions that she doesn't have the answer to?
Well, okay, so that goes into the next thing. After the second part, you could also throw her, of all things, a fucking jawbreaker, which is
Jawbreaker?
That's like insult to injury. Like, here, have this jawbreaker. And she's like, oh, I love that candy, and she'll take it, and you can leave. But now the story's changed a little bit to meet modern times a little more. So if you tell her, I'm sorry, I have a prior engagement, I have to go, she'll just let you leave, because it would be impolite to continue on. You'd have to go this long rigmarole to get it back. Now, if you guys want to hear a much better version of the story and more detailed stuff...
What if you asked her, does she think you're pretty?
Just
look at her and be like, do you think I'm pretty?
That's a very American way to think about it.
And then pull out your own pair of scissors and stab her.
You carry scissors everywhere with you?
Yes, giant pairs of scissors.
I know we live in
take out this particular person.
Grief. But so, if you want to hear a really more in-depth dive into this story, check out Astonishing Legends. What's funny is I was going to do this a few days ago, and then I was backlog binging to Astonishing Legends podcast, and they had a story about like basically Japanese demons and monsters and whatnot, and this came up, and I was like, well, God damn it, I still got to do it, because I dedicated myself to the time. But they have a much more in-depth read into it, with a fellow that actually lives in Japan and does some really cool stuff. So check that out as well.
It's better to listen to people who live nowhere near Japan talk about it.
Now, in 2007, something crazy happened, apparently. A coroner came across some records from the late 70s that actually says that a woman was chasing children around and was scaring them or whatnot and harassing them until she was hit by a car and killed. Now, when after she was killed, they found that she had a Glasgow smile. So, I mean, again... Now, I couldn't corroborate that story. I read it in a few places online.
To root for in the soccer finals. That was her fault.
Never vote
Everybody
Manchester
knows West
United
Ham United.
In Scotland.
West Ham United all the way.
Anyway, so, but there's, again, there's always a sliver of truth somewhere. So that might have been what the whole thing got fed up out in the 70s. It caused this whole, because it was a national thing that scared the hell out of people in Japan in the 70s.
I mean, here's the thing. More than likely, what probably happened was it might have been a real person who was just crazy, you know. But
the story had been around for a long time before that.
Well, she may have been crazy, and she may have actually had those scars, and she just decided to do it. But the thing is it sounds like to me she wasn't one for killing children,
or she wasn't very good at it.
Which is why the children got away, is because she just wasn't for killing them.
Or she was a nutter and whatnot. So there's also stories about like the whole throwing money at him. Well, maybe it was just a homeless lady that needed money, and you're just a dick. Like,
and then throw jawbreakers at her. That just piss her off.
You know those giant jawbreakers? Could you imagine just cracking somebody in the forehead with that? God, that would suck. So the next thing I want to pose, that was my creepy one for this installment of our Urban Legends thing. My next question I want to pose to you guys: do you think that creepypastas are the new urban legends of our time?
Probably will be.
Well, do you think they are? I mean,
I think that's
does
true.
that work? The smoke ring? Yeah, that's pretty cool. What do you think, though? Let me pick your brain a little bit. We talked about Slender Man already in the show. We know that's caused some things to go south, big time.
Well,
Jack the Killer is another thing, but I don't know if anyone's ever done a Jack the Killer murder spree. I know that the Slender Man thing has been actually, law enforcement friends of mine have actually told me they found evidence that folks are really involved in Slender Man stuff in some of their writings they found as evidence. I'm not saying Slender Man's real.
I think in this day and age, and this is going to offend some people, and I know it'll probably get to you a bit because you probably disagree, and it's fine. But I think this day and age, there's no real religion to grab onto for the youth because they're grown up to be atheists pretty much, and everybody reaches for something. Everybody does. Everybody lies and they say, "Oh, I'm atheist. I don't believe in something." But eventually, someone tries to find something. Well, and the youth are finding something. They're finding these horrible stories that they just want to believe in because they want to escape from something. And so they have nothing to grasp onto. So what do they grab onto? A lot of them are twisted. So like Slender Man, for instance, were those girls who tried to go to Slender World by killing someone who survived, might I add.
Yeah.
They stabbed her like, 13 times, 14 times, something like that? No, I think it was 21 times. She was a 14-year-old girl, crawled to safety. Someone saved her life. She got stabbed, and she lived. But those girls, they didn't have anything to believe in. They had to grab for something, and they grabbed for a horrible thing.
Well, we don't know, though. I mean, we don't know if they had something to believe in or not. Like, I think it was just a matter of... What I'm saying is, like, okay, so for me, urban legends are much like fairy tales of the past, where it's like a warning story. A don't do this or bad things can happen kind of thing. I don't know that creepypastas are the same way. So maybe our urban legends are transitioning from... Which kind of ties into what you're saying. Transitioning from a warning story or a moral story to more of a dark, more morose kind of mindset where you don't have...
Society has kind of formed into a dark, morose, into a
Well, I mean,
situation.
Dude, have you ever read the old freaking actual fairy tales back in the day? Like
Grimm's?
Yeah, like the actual...
stories? Yeah, no, they're messed up.
They're sick.
I mean,
sick as fuck.
People believe in the Cthulhu mythos. They believe that he
believe
really did. And that's what I'm saying is, that's a dark, horrible thing. Why would you choose to worship something that wants to kill you?
Well, I mean,
that's what I always say to people. It's like, why did those girls want to go to Slenderworld? What the hell do you think he was going to do? Be like, what's up, bro? Let's have some cake.
Well, we're all gonna
let's
die.
do some horrible things to you.
My question's more of with creepypastas versus like
maybe
horror
they were just really good at
movies.
Slenderman and they thought they could beat him. And that's why they're trying to
That video game that we have to walk around your phone and try to like collect letters or whatever.
That game was like
I tried to play that for 5 minutes and I couldn't even keep my attention at all.
Oh my god! If you did the Teletubbies, there was a mod for it that put the Teletubbies chasing you. That scared the shit out of me every time. Okay, I don't give a shit. Slenderman's not creepy, but Tinky Winky comes at you, you are fucking scared. Okay, I'm just saying.
It's funny as I have a Tinky Winky hat over there in my pile of costumes for Halloween stuff. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Probably just put it on.
Effigy.
I'm probably just gonna put it on a mannequin to scare the crap out of the kids.
Speaking of burning, okay, so. Anywho's open.
So, but what do you think though about the? Do you think creepypastas are the new urban legends, or are they just more like horror? Do you think horror movies are the new urban legends?
I think creepypastas are the new Grimm's fairy tales because Grimm's fairy tales are old and no one ever believed them to be real. Whereas if you think about it, stories that are told vocally, like say the one you just spoke about, that's not written down. That's not a story someone told. That's verbally told throughout the centuries. That's a story that evolved and changed based on the centuries, and
but so have all the fairy tales.
Yeah,
though.
but it stayed central. But it wasn't something that was just like it wasn't coagulated in this book. These are two formed together, so there's no way anyone would ever believe that creepypastas are this thing. I would say that something along the lines of aliens and things like that nowadays are closer to what are like urban legends.
Do you think aliens are an urban legend?
I think that there's no reason for aliens to ever come here or be here.
Boredom, sheer boredom. We started a podcast, bro. What are you talking about? And we're not that smart.
I get the argument that like they would do it because they could, but the thing is
because they could.
That concept,
we do things like that.
That concept adheres to us because we don't have a lot in this world. We are just getting technologically advanced. Of course, we're going to do it because we can. But a society that's already been there and done that, what the hell do they care what a podunk backwater country or world, for that matter, is doing? What do they care? They've done it already. They probably visited other worlds. What do they need to visit this one for? Well, it doesn't have anything they need. It's got a obviously aggressive, massive society that they would then have to deal with. Because if people knew about them, what do you think happens tomorrow? I mean, we invent things to fight and combat other situations. Do you think we wouldn't put every resource together as a world to fight an off-world threat that would suddenly appear up? Of course not. So there's no reason for a more intelligent society to think, let's go warn these people so they could become dangerous. Let's leave them in their tiny little bubble. Well, they'll never leave because they're so busy fighting each other. They'll never even look.
Space Force.
Space Force?
Just saying that. Space Force. Have you not heard about the Space Force thing?
No.
The president wants to make a Space Force.
And I want a toilet seat made of solid gold.
I actually came up with the best motto for Space Force.
What's that? No, go ahead. Hit me with it.
Are you sure you want to hear it?
Hit me with it. Strike me in the face with this.
Et ornum magna russus. Make Uranus great again. Space Force.
Okay, then.
Sign me up.
Alrighty, then. I can see that's going to
be my Latin's not great either. For a guy who's kind of a polyglot, my language skills are garbage. Sometimes you don't practice. But no, I think that like the creepypastas, man, I'm not sure. I'm torn between, is it just short horror stories or are they becoming urban legends?
How many of them are real?
How many urban legends are real? Like, you get the black-eyed children thing, the BEKs. We talked about this on one of our earliest episodes. What's bothering you?
Attack not all in the wall.
Of course not all in the wall.
So,
Okay, so we talked about the BEKs though, and they say, okay, well, it's not true. It's a creepypasta. Well, people have recorded seeing BEKs forever. Does that make it real? And what's the moral behind it? When someone's strange,
the creepypasta is making off an actual story.
Hypothetically, it's a real thing that became, or most people think it's just a story somebody made up. But you look back, and there's further evidence to say it goes further back. So
the reason I don't believe in creepypastas, though, is because, okay, so let me put it like this. A creepypasta is a story that someone invented around something, right? So around it.
So is an urban
legend.
However,
an urban legend is an event that took place.
Well, no, not necessarily. An urban legend, I think, is more of a warning.
Well, an urban legend may be a warning, but if you take it for its face value, which is this is something that could have or did happen to one individual person or a group of people, that's an urban legend. When you write a story that people know is a story or is based around that fact, that isn't the urban legend itself. That's just an extension of somebody's imagination for it.
So
if I see Bigfoot, like I see Bigfoot, right? Then that's part of an urban legend. But if I make a story around what happened, for instance, like say, well, Bigfoot was running around, he's going crazy. Bigfoot goes into the villages and he attacks people. That's now a story. That's not an urban legend.
Well, see, that's urban being...
Because I've just invented something around it.
Urban and legend, it's not a folklorical tale. It's an urban tale.
Look,
right?
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
I know. I'm just trying to... I'm trying to dig into this and try to...
I lost my own pattern of thought.
Pick your guys... I know. I saw that. I'm trying to pick your guys' brain, though, for real. Like, Paco, you're out and about trucking.
I did my best.
You're going to be hearing stories from truckers. You're going to have urban legends that truckers tell.
Well, I mean, what is it like? The flashing headlights.
Oh yeah,
someone will roll up to you with no lights on their car, and then they'll get behind you with lights on. Then they'll shut them off, and then they'll flash you to pull over. And then if you pull over, they'll kill you.
And it's a gang initiation.
Yeah.
Or if you're driving and see someone with their lights off and you flash them.
Except I believe that was actually true at one point, wasn't it? Like that actually happened to someone.
There you go. I think it was true at one point.
And that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like
you can say that with urban legends, but most creepypastas, you'll never say that. You'll never be like, yeah, that happened.
Okay, so that's the thing, though. How do you know?
Okay, you know what? You're right. I'll give you a couple of them that actually sound so well written, or they may be real, but...
And I have to actually go back and retract a statement as I'm thinking about it further. After I told that last story about the slit-faced woman, what are you doing?
I don't know.
After I told the story about the slit-faced woman, I have to retract because my statement was I thought urban legends were there to teach you a moral lesson. But the slit-faced woman, there's no escape for the most part.
Actually, there is.
There's no real moral lesson to be learned there.
Well, no, there
aside
is.
from don't give people glass-scale smiles.
No, there's actually a moral story there.
What?
Vanity. Her vanity created her into a monster that then harmed people. If
okay,
you
so
if you fall into vanity,
then
you can become cursed. Yeah, she is the story. Her story of becoming a vain creature that would harm people. Yeah.
So it's more of a warning that you could be.
Yeah, you could become her. You could be the monster that goes around killing people. Think about it, because the story starts from her back in the Hyen or whatever when her shogun killed her and then moved down. Most urban legends don't have a beginning story. They all start from the point of when the first person saw it and the horrible thing happened. She actually has a full backstory of the explanation that she was a vain human being that was then killed for her vanity because she became arrogant. And then she became a creature because of that vanity that then killed people because of her suffering.
Okay, so maybe
her vanity was actually its own. Her vanity was in and of itself a story. Was the moral of the story was her vanity created her own evil.
So what if we were to say that Slender Man is an urban legend?
No.
Well, now we have to assume it is because of what happened with those girls.
We know too damn.
If you go back to our earlier episode, one of our earliest episodes, it's up on the things. Terms of Slendearment, we called it.
Except for the fact that we all know Marble Hornets exists, and we know they created it, and we know they still do Comic-Con and stuff.
Slender Man. That was before that.
It was a German folklore they stole.
Well, yeah, but there was still that wood block, and people. I don't think Marble Hornets did. I think somebody else did it. I could be wrong.
Marble Hornets were the guys who made Slender Man. They made it off of a German folktale.
No, it was from that Something Awful forums. Marble Hornets came after that.
If I remember correctly, it was...
See, here we go. Urban legend now. Now
what
it's an urban legend. Even where Slender
Man
how it
was created is an urban legend at this point. But no, if I remember correctly, it is based off an actual story of a German creature that would come take kids in the night.
I don't know. We should get a hold of the guy that actually... We should try to get a hold of the guy that actually invented Slender Man because he's on record saying he invented it.
Yeah, we should talk to him about it.
But he had to get the idea from somewhere. It didn't just... come up to him.
If you actually hear the original creepypasta, like because let me put it like this. You're right. There is actually a story I believe before Marble Hornets, and it's like this guy buys a suit, and the tailor or whatever he makes a suit for someone, the creature comes for them. Like he makes a lot of money.
No, that's not the original. The original is that Photoshop thing they did for Something Awful forums. back in the day. I mean, this is a long time ago, guys. This is many, many years ago with Marble. The internet, wise anyway, because the internet's...
Well, the internet doesn't forget. That's one of the tough things about today is that coming off of society back in the day used to have very short memories, which is why I say that I don't know if it'll become an urban legend, because society used to have really short memories. Like the news would speak and everybody would forget it the next day.
I think societies back then had a longer memory because
in the form of attention span. Like, for instance, if these stories were told now and someone read them, they'd be forgotten tomorrow. But now people can look at them and find them. Well, whereas now people can just go back and go, look, no, this was a story that was written this time. This guy made it. It was, it was invented here. This is where it started.
Maybe.
That's what I mean is now there's a basically society now has a memory on the internet that people can just go back and look and say, hey, this was not true.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do.
Can't do that.
After the show, I'm going to put up a poll for you, the listeners and viewers, on our Facebook page. What do you guys think about creepypastas? Do they or do they not count as urban legends? Let's see what the Vanishers have to say about it.
I'll take that.
Sound good, guys? Paco, what do you think? Good idea?
Me.
I think that's a good plan.
Okay, so, guys, thank you again for watching the second installment of our our series on urban legends. Next Saturday, we'll be here again. Nick, our tech guy from Chicago, should be on to talk about some Chicago urban legends, because he lives very close to where the story of Resurrection Mary originated. Paco won't be on because I can only Skype so much at one time. Sorry, good sir. Love you in the face. But
did you do multiple Skypes? Just not video?
No, not the way my setup is now. Not until I get a better setup. When I get more studio stuff set up, we will be able to do multiple.
Well, no,
right now I can do one at a time.
I meant you can actually set it up that when he talks, when Nick talks, his will shut off his camera, and then it'll switch Nick's, and then when he talks, it'll switch him back.
That's beyond my abilities. That's outside of my scope of practice. And we will be doing a live stream for Halloween. I'm not sure. We'll probably just do like a horror movie review. I don't know. Will you be here for that?
I don't know.
If it's not raining, we'll be live from my haunted yard again, like we did last year, because Halloween's a big thing for us. Paco, I don't know where you'll be at. If you're available, we'll have you on for that. Guys, if you have an urban legend you want us to discuss in the next episode, please email us at vanishinggates@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, follow, share, subscribe across the board. We have our YouTube channel. We have the iTunes thing now, Stitcher, Podbean, and Google+. And we might be on iHeartRadio soon. I put the stuff forward. And
there are some modern urban legends that involve the internet.
Do you have one?
Well, I mean, Black Web, the Deep Web, things like that.
Do you want to do one of those real quick?
Well, no, I just don't know any off the top of my head. I just know there are some. Like, there's
some
like...
the Dark Web is an urban legend for a lot of people. It's just a cavalcade of urban legends.
It's just a large chunk of urban legends. Like,
as far as we know.
People hijacking your things during live streams and then, showing weird signs. I don't know. It's strange. Like the cicada, what is it, like 35103 or something?
Yeah, I don't think it's an urban legend. I think it's just an online, like...
It was like a community.
It's a game. I think it's a
but
scavenger hunt. I think
there are some things. I mean, even some of the unmentionable things that we don't talk about on the show are probably urban legends.
Those we don't speak of.
Experiments.
We don't talk about the Goose Scout.
No, because the FBI and CIA shut us down.
MK Ultra.
Don't.
Hashtag.
Now we're dead.
Come on. We're not supposed to say stuff like
Dogman
on there.
God damn.
Oh!
I'm not saying it's Dogman, but it's MK Ultra Dogman. It's obviously the Mandela effect.
I'm glad I never left the show, and everybody who thinks I did, that's just a Mandela effect.
Right.
I've been here the whole time.
Which, guys...
I've been in the corner, you just haven't noticed me.
But any topics you guys want us to discuss on the show, guests you want us to try to get on, let us know. If you have stories that aren't just urban legends, if you have encounters with the unexplained or the paranormal, please let us know. Just email us, hit us up. Yes,
Which actually, when we next time, maybe for the Halloween episode, if I'm on, maybe I got a new viewer that listens to our show that he went and told me a story that he wants to be shared anonymously, of course, and which we always respect and will always do as long as we're asked.
Yeah.
So we have a listener story already that we'll be sharing the next time I'm on.
Sweet. We'll get that. That's awesome. So yeah, guys, if you want your story shared, let me know. If you want to remain anonymous, it's totally fine. We won't say your name unless you want us to. We can even use a gamer tag if you're into video games. Okay, so you two play the PlayStation. So if people want to game with you and join you in party and play some PlayStation,
you're not allowed to.
What are your gamer tags?
I really hate having people on my freaking page. People always want to talk and they want to join my chat channel, and I'm like, oh god, now I have to talk to people today.
It's not like you're using IRC, dude.
I'm trying to think and black out, and if you're talking to my headset, I can't hear the footsteps.
So Call of Duty Blackout. If you want to join party with Jack, just make sure you're polite. What's your gamer tag there, buddy? Make sure you send him a message before you send him a request.
I don't want to tell you. It's Jack Temple.
Weird. The same thing you've used forever. How about you, Paco?
Mine is Westlakes 5. Westlakes 5.
So if you guys want to join either of them on the PlayStation, you can for gaming. Make sure you send them a message first requesting you hang out, or you won't get involved with their game. Now, if you play...
I get a lot of spam these days. Like, people just trying to add me randomly. They don't tell me who they are. It's like,
yeah, always send a message before you spam.
I will never answer unless you tell me who you are.
Always send a message prior. Same with me. You can check me out, Moo Juice Magic, on the Xbox because, I pay attention.
I play with you guys every once in a while, but I don't actually know what my username on that is anymore, so...
I don't either. It's J something or another.
I think it's JManTYU.
Something like that, yeah. So, Moo Juice Magic, instead of magic with a G, it's with a J. So, and a K at the end instead of a C. Moo Juice Magic. Like, milk is good for you kind of thing. Trust me on that one. It's really good for you. You'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll hurl, as they say in Wayne's World. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching again. And don't forget to join us on...
Illuminati.
Don't forget to join us on Wednesday for our live Halloween episode. Turn your notifications on because I'm not sure what time I'm going to go live because I'm not sure what my new job, because I started a new career as of Monday. Yeah.
Oh my god, we form a triangle. There's 3 sides to a triangle. The triangle is the all-seeing eye, which is a symbol of the Illuminati.
It's a tridefecta. Anyway, so please, if you check us out on the podcasting sites.
Illuminati podcast ever.
Have we done Illuminati yet? We haven't, have we?
I don't think we actually ever wound up getting around to it.
Why would we do something that's not a thing?
I mean, we do things that aren't a thing a lot. Why would we?
Why would urban legend out there?
Touche. All right. So if you're going to check out the podcast stuff, please, guys, leave us good reviews. That would really help us. And tell your friends about the show. Because, again, when we hit 500 followers on the Facebook page, Paco's buying some T-shirts to give out. And we're going to draw some names. And we're going to send them out to you.
So don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff.
Yep, all across the board. The Facebook page mostly. And the YouTube channel. Give us a like on YouTube still because,
Tell your friends. You want to be able to say when we get to like 5 or 6 million... You want to be able to say, I was there at the start. You got to have that arrogance. You got to be able to say first.
Word.
And we'll like your first at that point.
Yep. Now, I'm not sure what else I was going to say at this point. Great episode, I think, guys. I think it's been fun. It's good to have Jack back. Tentatively, at least, right?
Well, Jack's off. You got to go.
You taking off? You're leaving right now?
Yeah.
Are you sure your car's going to start?
Maybe.
Long story.
That's the urban legend of the oil cap being put on my car.
The urban legend of Jack's oil change that may not have worked. I love when you pull up to my house. My car smells like fuel. What's wrong with it? Turn it on. Turn the AC's going. I'm like, well, turn off.
Turns out someone didn't put the oil cap
pop
back
the hood.
on.
Hey, buddy, pop the hood. Turn the car off now. Why? There's oil everywhere and the cap's not on it.
It's spitting fucking on.
Phenomenal.
It's great. It's good stuff, man. Really.
So, guys, if you are in the Yuba City area...
What's up, Bridget?
On Monday. Oh, yeah, no, Bridget was super stoked. She actually was wondering if you guys were going to be on and not just me. Thanks, Bridget. Love you, too. Anyway.
Finger gun.
If you guys are in the Yuba City area Monday evening, send me a message because I'm going to be there for a little bit.
It's got a really bad cramp in my leg.
You just got a really bad cramp in your leg, so you had to hoist and run? And now you're making... Well, it's not shadow puppets. There's a shadow puppet. He's making shadow dactyls. Oh, my God. Welcome to Jack's Shadow Puppet Hour on Vanishing Gates.
I love the new lighting in the studio. It's great.
It's like a green screen. I have been doing some serious revamping to the studio, have I not?
It looks great, actually.
Man. All right, so Bridget sends a heart because you're not looking. I'm not really sure what's happening now.
I don't fucking know either.
Oh, okay. So guys, also, if you have some horror movies you want to suggest to us, let us know on the Facebook page. That'd be cool too, because I'm in the mood to binge some horror movies tomorrow, and I've seen a bunch.
Have you watched the new Netflix show, The Haunting of
I've
Hill House?
started watching it. Yes,
I have been working a lot.
I have too, but I've started watching. Let's see. Bridget says I just watched Halloween. How was it, Bridget in chat? How was the new Halloween? Without spoilers, please, darling, because I still want to see it.
Crap, as always.
Shut up. I don't want to hear it's crap. Been looking forward to this for
Something
a
is happening in the
long
background.
time.
We're gonna get a DMCA.
Jamie Lee Curtis is still hot.
What is happening back there?
Turn that off in the background. We're gonna get sued.
Shut up!
Quiet boy, do you want to get sued? No.
I don't know how to do it. How do you work this thing?
I can just.
You gotta mute him, otherwise
I can just click him off the damn Windows capture. It's totally fine.
You're gonna get pulled
Oh,
back.
come on, man. Killing me. Jesus, Paco. You know better.
I had it on pause, and then we started talking about like
the original.
Okay.
Okay.
Movies and stuff, and it was like, oh, let's just go ahead and unpause.
Bad idea. That's why our last Halloween episode we did got told we couldn't monetize on YouTube. Because my dumb ass is playing copywritten stuff on my wall of my house.
Nice.
Oh, the original Halloween is amazing still. But if any of you guys have seen the new Halloween, let me know, because I'm going to go see it and looking forward to it. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to check out the podcasting stuff. I know I'm saying it and beating the dead horse, but honestly, it's a big deal.
Check us out on podcast.
Check us out on podcast.
Podcasting.
On podcast. Just podcast.
Podbean.
Check us out.
Check us out on podcast. We're not gonna tell you which one. You just got to look for us. Okay?
I am still in the process of taking the backlog of shows and pulling the audio to put into the podcast. So, yeah.
I like turtles.
I don't get that.
I still like turtles.
They're not food. They're friends.
That's okay.
All right, guys. Thanks again. I am Jay. The guy on the screen is
I'm Paco, you guys.
and that guy.
It's the Mandela effect, Jack. Was I here? Was I not? Who knows?
Reality's emerging.
Reality is a subjective thing. Maybe what's real to you isn't real to others. You'll never know.
Did you just mouth the mic?
Maybe.
He's whispering sweet bullshit in your ears.
Damn right.
Just come back to Jack's place. We'll crack open a bag of wine and we'll watch some B-grade B-grade horror movies from India.
Bag of wine. Just have bags of wine laying around to crack open.
With LED candles?
Yes.
I vote Jack starts a secondary podcast where he just gives love advice just like that.
Slow caressing. That's all you need. Baste the turkey slowly.
Is it a cooking? Wait, is it going to be a cooking show or
I don't know. Apparently, it's going to be both. I'm going to give you love advice while I'm cooking a turkey, I guess. It's going to be everything. It's going to be everything. We're going to talk sports.
Jack on meat.
Some shit's happening.
Listen to the velvety tones of Jack's dulcet voice.
Can we just admit that the Raiders are a joke now? Anyone with me on this one?
Oh,
Raiders
man.
are a joke. Trade away Derek Carr, Amari Cooper, and Kawhi Leonard. It's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's an urban legend.
Dumbest thing.
The Raiders are an urban legend.
Look at Paco. He's sad. Look at that face.
Oh, man.
He has to think about that.
All right, guys. Thanks again for watching. Please like, follow, share, subscribe.
Love you guys.
See ya.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Wait. Goodbye, everybody.
That's not high enough. Anyway, try it again.
Bye, everybody.
That's a little creepy.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye, everybody.